David Kausch has brought us two topics today, one by email and one by comment on video. I have my audio confirmation, and we will get right to his issues in just a moment. Oh, nope, SpeakerBot did not come through. Da-da-da-da.
DougBot said, hey, is this thing on?
Oh, there it is. Oh, okay, I misread that. Yeah, it worked. It worked. I'm just going to hit that one more time to be sure. Then I'm going to go to his video comment.
That's a big 10-4.
His video comment question first. Here we go. Zoom this in a little bit. And then, I think this is from, this is from the Saturday show. It says, has anyone else been having issues with a 2025 March cumulative update for Windows 10 version 22H2 for 64-based system? Mine fails at 94%. David, is that failing at 94% of the download, or more likely 94% of the install? I'm not sure that I'm going to have a different direction based upon your answer to that. But let's go over here. Anytime that I have something like that happening, what I'll do is go to the Microsoft library, update library, and download that from there. Now I'm just going to try doing a Google search for this and see if that'll get me right to the library. There's support.microsoft.com. I'd like to see a link that takes me straight to the library. Because every time I try to just type in the library address, it takes me a couple tries to get it right. There's the March 2025. Is this Windows 10? Yeah. And then I actually want to get to the update itself where you can download it. If your image does not have, you must install the standalone. Oh, this is interesting. If your image does not have the July 25, 2023 or later. Oh, no, we don't need that. You would certainly have that. Okay, my eyes are just going a little bonkers right now. Follow at Windows Update. All right, let's try it this other way. Is it called library? Somebody's going to put it in chat, aren't they? Catalog, that's what it is. Catalog. I think it's catalog.microsoft.com. Is that it? Catalog update on Microsoft Windows 10 catalog update. Microsoft catalog. Here's Microsoft catalog. Catalog.update. And then if you've got, for instance, I have that copied previously. Let's just try searching for that. And there you go. These are all Windows 10. Well, there's Windows 11. So then narrowing down which one you need. If you already know the KB number, which it's easiest to just type the KB number in here, but he didn't give that to me. So I'm showing a different way to get to it. Dynamic cumulative updates. These are, we're not going to be ARM. We're not going to be x86. So it could be this one. And then this one is also x86. This is cumulative. That's dynamic cumulative. Cumulative is the one that I'm more accustomed to, but that's x86. Cumulative update for x64. I'm not quite sure the difference between the dynamic. I don't know that I've even come across that as part of the name here. And that one's ARM. So this is the one that I'd be going for to download that and install it. I'm going to click on this and see what it tells me about dynamic. If it does, give me any details. If anyone knows the significance of having the word dynamic there, let me know, because my way of thinking, all of them are dynamic. They're all looking at what you have on your current computer.
Chat, please.
Okay, so Jeff Ryman's got something. I don't know if it's specifically on this topic. If Citrix is installed, Microsoft, that company that issues the updates, says this update might not complete installation. Bada boom, bada bing. That helps. So look to see if you have any Citrix elements installed with, and going into appwiz.cpl, I did the Windows key and the letter R. And do you have anything in here named Citrix? I think it will begin with the word Citrix, but maybe not. Does Control F work in here? Maybe. It's blinking up there, so I'm going to try typing Thunderbird. Yeah, okay. So you could search Citrix to see if you have any Citrix items. I think people have put into chat that it has worked for them for that update. And I've installed it on a few computers and not had the trouble. David is a senior field engineer, if I'm remembering correctly, for a company in Florida. I don't recall right now what equipment that they install, but he easily could have some Citrix elements. Okay, so that's for David. And I probably should have started with a timestamp, but I think I started at like my first words were for him. So here's the T equals S. So we'll say that was about 100 seconds. No, not 100 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. I'm not even sure if that'll work. Let's go try that over here. Oh, I need some of you to test the exclamation mark points, please. Yep, that brings it right to here. Let's see. How far in is that? I can't tell how far in it is that way. Oh, well, you'll get the idea. 2 seconds. And then we'll go right on to his question on email. And this time I will reply to his email with that timestamp code right there at 500 for this one. And what he says, no, I can't bring this on screen because it's got his information. I'll go ahead and paste that into Word so you can see it, because by the time I read the whole thing, you will have forgotten. You may have forgotten some of it. Yeah. Well, I have been on X complaining about how bad Comcast has been and how I have been paying for 2 gig service and only getting 500 meg. Tried to get credits from them back in December, and the billing department in Bangladesh offered me a sweet deal, $5 credit. So I ran speed tests yesterday and today. The only machine in the house that gets 900 meg is my game rig. So what I did next is disconnected everything, hooked up this machine only, I'm assuming that means the gaming rig, and rebooted the modem. Once I rebooted, I ran speed tests and got the following. I'm going to show you his screenshots of his speed tests. Then I have questions off of these features. Let's make this big. If anyone has questions in chat, be sure to give me a read chat, please, to guide me to it, or might do that after I finish with this one from David. So here's a speed test showing 217 speed tests, highest speed 960. And these tests were from Friday here. I'm pretty sure that 217 is probably going back for months. I don't think he did 217 tests on Friday. The next picture.
Read chat, please.
Is a picture of the setup. I see Martin Hogg saying Windows Update David. Okay, we'll come to that after I finish this bit here, since that goes back to the update issue. Hang on a moment. So here's his router and his network switch and Ethernet cables. kind of looks like this might be in a garage environment. And I'm going to come back to this picture in a minute because this is where I have questions. And this is another speed test shot, just showing more tests on Friday. Okay, so here are my questions, David. You have the same Xfinity router as I do. It's my understanding that the Ethernet port that's on the bottom right, as you're looking at it on the back, it has this yellow line, yellow vertical line on the left edge of that port. It's my understanding that that is the 2.5 gigabit port, and the rest of these ports are 1 gigabit. Well, these are phone ports up here, but 1, 2, 3, those ports are all 1 gigabit, as I understand it. So that's a question I have. Could you clarify that, please? And then I have the question about this Netgear switch. What is the model of that switch? I can't quite make it out here. I can see that it's ProSafe. Let's see. It looks like GS or G530 something PE maybe. Somebody might recognize it. But I'm also wondering about this yellow portion, that these ports are flagged in yellow. I'm wondering, are those supposed to be used for high-speed purposes, and therefore you have the Xfinity router plugged into a lower speed port? Now, I may be completely wrong with those questions, but those are my questions. I can tell the port numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is what you have there. Now I haven't heard any response from you about you were going to ask the technician to come out and assist you with getting a direct connection to the demarcation point outside the house to see if you get better speeds. But this is coax coming into here. So that would mean go out to the demarcation point, have them open that box. You take your router out there with an extension cord, plug in your Ethernet cables, and have your laptop out there, assuming it has over 2 gigabit network Ethernet port available on it. And, plug your router into coax, a fresh coax cable there, and see what speed you get. But, these questions need to be answered right here. Or am I wrong in my understanding? The red one is input. Martin is saying these yellow ports are output on the switch and the red port is input. That doesn't make sense to me, Martin, because switches are not routers. Are you speaking from knowledge, or are you speaking from your expectation? Are you really confident about that? Because that doesn't sound right to me. The yellow ports are output. The red switches don't have inputs and outputs. Unless you can show me a model number, give me a model number or link or something to a switch that has input and output. No, routers do. I don't think that is a router. It's ProSafe. If it is, then that could be a WAN port there. But that's odd because a router, an 8-port, would typically have an 8-port switch, and he's not even on the last port. That's port number 8. This looks to me like a switch. So Martin, how confident are you in that statement? I don't think that's right. And then back here, Martin Hogg says, if Dave disables security software temporarily, the update may complete. If he has third-party security software, perhaps if he's using Windows Defender, then no, you shouldn't have to disable that. Londog says, Doug, you see the yellow strip under the connectors. What does that say, and how come it doesn't cover all ports from what I'm seeing? I just said I can't tell what it's saying. The picture's not clear enough. That's why I'm asking him. I can't tell what that says. But I'm suspecting that if this is a switch that is capable of 2.5 gigabits or higher, it might be only on those ports. I don't know. All right. Now, let me consider for a moment. I think that's all the submitted questions that I have. And, oh, I've got to unzoom that photo to get back and check on things. Let's see, I did that reply. Oh, here's my question from me. After the last Windows update, I think that's when it happened. Only on Big Beast Build. My YouTube shows up differently. Let's stop that. It's got this black. Looks like kind of dark mode. This is not YouTube's dark mode though, because notice the chat is light. If I switch to YouTube dark mode, if I go here to dark theme, then the chat panel is also dark. And then it started unpause when I did that, apparently. And then if I switch back to device theme or light theme, either way, it comes back to this. Now I have a Carrie Holzman show up over here and just showing that his is showing the same. Let's look at chat replay there. Yeah, his is showing that way too. This is only happening on Big Beast Build. And I don't understand why. Here, I'll show you Baby Beast. There's Baby Beast right over there. It's not dark like that. Is anyone else experiencing this symptom or have ideas? I do not like dark mode. Not like dark mode, Sam I am. I didn't do that one very well, did I? I'm going to go check and see if people have been giving me exclamation mark points commands. 3. Greg, 12,450. Yeah, see, that's too high. It's supposed to be resetting points at the beginning of the show. And that's too high. You have accumulated points from a prior show, which tells me that it is definitely, I can accumulate points from one show to another. But for this month, I wanted to do, and he's the only one that did it. Oh no, here's Lawn Dog. Why didn't it take me to Lawn Dogs? Oh, I guess it did. He has 7,750 points. So the points every minute that you're considered active in chat gets you an extra 50 points. So if you check again 1 minute later after that command, you should see that it's incremented up 50 points. I need to know if that's working right because I don't trust this thing. This part right here, Live Windows Training-DougBetts, it's not supposed to be responded by me. It's supposed to be responded by DougBot. And the second day that I had this running, it did respond with DougBot showing the points. So this is not a well debugged system. And I don't want to spend time trying to figure things out before. I don't want to spend time trying to figure this thing out before I don't want to spend time configuring the point system the way I want it to run until I can see that it'd be consistent. Let's see, Gary's networks, Netgear support. So did you figure out which router that is? GS 108 PE V3, he thinks it is. GS, it doesn't look like a, could that be a 1? It looks more like a 3, but it might be close enough. Yeah, so we got the yellow stuff here. Documentation, this product is end of life, 8-port gigabit plus switch with 4 ports. Oh, it's power over Ethernet. That's what the yellow is. Okay, so scratch that. Now let's get gigabit switch. So that says it's only capable of gigabit. It's not capable of 2.5 gigabits. So that's not going to work. You're not going to be able to go through that switch and get over 1 gigabit speeds, David. that is a 1 gigabit switch. That's why it says gigabit. How many gigabits? 1, because there's no S on the end. There's no number. That's a gigabit switch. Yes, Greg, and we talked about eliminating the switch before, asking him to connect his computer directly to the 2.5 port. Oh, look at that. That's another Ethernet coming from there. He's got an Ethernet plugged into that 2.5 gigabit port. So is that cable running to his gaming rig? If so, then that would be a valid test. I didn't even notice that before. Okay. All right, David. I hope you're still listening and watching. I think he watches the show all the way through, doesn't he? So if that's going straight to the gaming rig, then this switch is out of the mix. But I would, another point that I asked for was to disconnect these other two Ethernet so that the only thing connected is that computer that's capable of the 2.5 gigabit, and then do a speed test. And the reason why I said that, and I described the example, is I found in a case in a client's office where there was a misbehaving switch that was causing a problem when I connected a computer directly to the router and disconnected everything else. I got stable performance. And that's the thing. He does not have stable performance. The numbers we looked at today appeared to be stable, but he's previously shown that he's been like down below 200 megabits per second, I think below 100 megabits per second on occasion. I dug out a Netgear business managed router. All of its ports are managed, no yellow labels on it. Yeah, so it's power over Ethernet. So Gary came up with that. So that is points to Gary, points to Gary. Let's see, can I do, I can do triple click and then shift left. But if I do triple click without doing shift left, how does that work? Does it work? So if I come down to add points, 2000, paste, whoops, wrong paste. See, the space did not get pasted. So that's valid. That's valid. Gary has 2,900 points. He showed up towards the end of Saturday's show, I think. So he accumulated some points there and got some today. I'm going to look back at after the show is over to anyone who's given me exclamation mark points, and I'm hoping that some of you have given me exclamation mark points at 1 minute, slightly over 1 minute intervals, so that I can see if it is incrementing by 50 points per minute, because I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Oh, here's another thing I want to try. I want to see if I do exclamation mark points, can I ask for a specific person's points? Because you can only ask for your own points. No, see, when I did that, it gave me my points. I'm pretty sure that's my points, because if I just do exclamation mark points, yeah, it's the same number. GS Giga Ethernet. I guess that was at the in the model. Oh, GS. In their model naming conventions, I think Gary is telling us that when they use GS, that is their code for gigabit Ethernet. Why don't you trust computers? To AI. Oh, Greg, perfect. Greg, I'm going to give you points for that. Yeah. Because I've got an AI story to tell. Let's say that's worth 500. Whoops. 3 clicks. Triple click. Okay. And we'll snoop on Greg and see how many points he has. I got to show you this AI. I got to take my screen off screen. What? and find this recent chat that I had with Copilot. It's just hilarious. And the problem with finding that, it was just this morning, so it shouldn't be too hard to find it. It was not at the end. I mean, it was not at the beginning of a conversation. And unfortunately, you cannot search through your prior Copilot chats. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, so story time. I was out in the kitchen and I asked my Amazon Echo device. It starts with the A word in the kitchen. Here it starts with the Z word. I asked it what time it is, and I heard my computer responding. Well, I had been using the vocal interaction with Copilot on my computer and didn't realize the microphone was still hot. So it responded. It responded in a curious way. So I came back in here and I asked a little more questions. So here's how the conversation went. I said this question here. Yeah, I said, what time is it? And it responded, it's 5:10 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. And then it said, Doug, glad you're back. How's your morning? And I said, oh, this is when I was in the other room. So that's when I came in here. So I said, what time is it? And it said it's 5:21. At the time when it said 5:10, it was not 5:10. It was a bit later. But the second when I came in here, it came up with a number that just there was not more than a minute or two between those two times. So it jumped in time, Pacific Standard Time. I said, are you sure about that? It should be daylight savings time. You're right. My mistake. It's 6:21 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Thanks for catching that. Let's see. Since somebody taught me how to zoom in. Yeah. And then I responded, my clock says it's 5:20 a.m. Daylight Time when it was saying 6:21. And Copilot's response, got it. Your clock's the boss. It's 5:20 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Like, whatever you say, sir. Really? Really? That's how wrong AI can be? And I pay for Copilot. I pay the extra money for Copilot. I mean, all it has to do is look down here in the bottom right corner. That would be sufficient. It'd be better for it to, check over the internet. See, I said bottom right corner and you couldn't even see my mouse, but you all know what that is. Greg says 5:21 a.m. My head is on the pillow. I was actually up at 3 a.m. I don't think I went back to bed. I don't know, 3:30, something like that. I'm going to go see if there's anything that you hit me with in orange, or yeah, orange. I have not kept up with chat today. I kept up pretty good on Saturday. That's because I didn't have any emails or video comments to talk about. Didn't the ad indicate that switch is out of production? New switch might not be a bad idea anyway. Yeah, no, but that's a gigabit switch. It's not going to get him the 2.5 gig. So if he wants to get that throughout, then he's going to need a new switch. Looks like you can gain 50 points only if you've passed the 1 minute increment mark. Now you might do an exclamation mark points and then 10 seconds later do another one, and it might increment 50 points, but that's because of the timing of your prompt. If you hit right at the border of what it considers your start time in chat, then that would be misleading. But then if you try again within 10 seconds, you'll probably find that it doesn't add 50. So that'd be a good thing for somebody to do. Exclamation mark points. 10 seconds later, another one. 10 seconds later, another one. And keep going through like 10 times, 10 seconds apart. That would be a helpful thing for me if you were to do that. We're about to shut down. Now, don't ask a question right at the end of the show. Questions, ask them at the beginning of the show or send them by email or comments on videos. And if you have recently put in a question in chat that I have not responded to, I am no longer copying those and emailing myself them and queuing them up for the next day, because that's just every one of these it's just a little bit of time. It's just a little bit of time until they all stack
Red
up.
chat, please.
And I just don't want that to be a thing. Well, now look here. Chris Garrett says, I have a question. I'll tell you what, Chris. Here's what I'm going to do with that. Add points minus 2,000. 1, 2, 3. Control C. Control paste. There you go. I know you're being funny. You're being a troll. Yeah. But I'm being funny right back at you. So take that one. I'm being funny. Oh, Martin Hogg, a joke at the first. All right. Let's go. I'll do it this way. Control C and come up here. Control V, down one. Here it is. Whoops. There we go. Thank you for pointing that out. Brian Lightfoot went back to his doctor and said, Doctor, help me, please. I took your advice by simply not talking to my wife. I did as you said, but she shouted at me, walloped me, and I ended up on the floor again. No laugh out loud. So, nah. Is that horse dead yet? I don't know, is Brian even around? Or is he still on the floor? Yeah, see, he's still on the floor. He hasn't even been able to get up yet. What do we got here? Gary, have Dave contact. Let's see. Broadband USA, Florida. What should he do when he contacts them? What is he saying? Is he saying Gary sent me? What is his lead question? Contacting them. Is he saying that Comcast won't answer their phone? They do. Comcast is continuing to, file a complaint. Okay. Contact them. So do you actually have to dial a phone number? Complaint. That'd be reasonable, because he's been back to Comcast quite a few times. How do you actually dispute resolution policy? PDF, a complaint stamped by the Kirk. Okay, I'm going to leave that to you, David, to drill down and find out how to file a complaint. Let's get back to that link. Oh, no, I didn't copy the link. I will copy that, copy link address, and paste it into that email for him. No, because it was the email. Now, you actually took us to node 174. Did you really intend that, Gary? Because that's like, are you saying he should contact one of these people by phone? I want Gary to, hoping Gary can respond to that before I shut this down, because that's curious that you gave me a link that actually shows how to contact people. Yes, that is for Florida, but are you saying to call somebody on the phone? A node 174 is for Florida. Does he need to get to the Florida site to file a complaint? Do you know anything more about filing a complaint, Gary? I'd like to give him a little more guidance. Heck yes, that number. Yeah, so he's saying, Gary's saying, call that number. Heck yes, that number. Because, so this is for Florida. And there's two phone numbers, Sean Lewis. Oh, no, how many are in here? Carlos Nathan, Samantha Claggett, Leo Garcia, Leo has a phone number. These other two don't have a phone number. The title is Director, Office of Broadband. This one was Digital Equity Capacity Federal Program Manager. So Office of Broadband, that sounds like a likely person. Paul Wotherspoon, don't get that confused with Reese Witherspoon's husband. With a phone number, that's Economic Opportunity Funding. No, probably not that one. Broadband Initiatives, no. So yeah, Gary was saying, I think that one that I had highlighted at the time. Director, Office of Broadband. Phone call direct to Leo Garcia. Why not? Why not? Try it. Let us know what happens. Gary says he sold his house that was in Tarpon Springs, Florida in 2024. They will direct you where to go for help. All right, awesome. Thank you, Gary. Okay, here we go. You can send a question to this email address. You can put a comment on any of my videos to ask a question. Myself in the chat room would like very much to contemplate, discuss, talk about whatever issue you're having and try to give you ideas to solve it or maybe direct answers or whatever it may be. So there it is. Have a great Monday, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.